Right, so to start, from a user's perspective, what they'll see is this. First thing you want to do is pick out a member, so we'll pick out the top one. And what the user will normally do is they'll go to register now. And then the first thing that's asked is, can they see the member number? So if we double click this here, put that in there. You also have a help box here that can help you, or help a user locate their membership number. Generally that'll go, please contact us, will go straight to you, which obviously you'd give them the card ID. So here you click continue. So it'll ask for some simple information from the member. So for example, date of birth. And to answer one of the following. So we'll put in the postcode. Here, if there are multiple members, so if they're actually connected to other relations, you can add other members to this account. Additionally, you can add non-relations to this account as well. So here we only have one member, and that's all we want to add. So if we go proceed to finish, so it'll already have the email address that's actually within CoursePro here, and then you set a password. And normally you have the terms and conditions here. Unfortunately, on my copy, I don't actually have any saved. You should on yours. If you want any changes to that, let us know, and we can update the terms and conditions as required. So once they've read the terms and conditions, they normally tick that and then press confirm. But because I put in the wrong password, they don't match. So here you can see CoursePro will now send them a confirmation email. So this will take you back to the HomePortal page. I should get one in a second, which has just come through. So here you can see it says welcome to HomePortal. To activate your account, please click the link below. Sometimes we do find that people hit the unsubscribe button, hence why some of these emails don't actually come through. If the member's adamant that they haven't had an email, let us know, and what we can do is have a search for that email within our mailing system. And what we'll do is we'll remove that so that they can actually receive future emails. So they just have to resend it again. So if we refresh this, you can see the ability to resend the activation email. So if the customer's adamant they still haven't received one at this point, let us know. So if we just click this link here, now what we should be able to do is log in as that member. So as you can see, that's all worked as expected. So the next thing I was going to cover is forgot password. So if we go back and log out, the first thing they do is they get to this screen and go, right, I forgot my password, so they click here. So they'd have to put in their email or card number. Well, we know the member's email here, so if we go here. So one of these is generated at random, so it will ask for a piece of information from the member. So here it wants the postcode of the card ending in 116. So if we look at the member, I think I picked the wrong member. 1 second. So we start this again. So I think what's happened here, as you can see the card, a number ending in 116, it doesn't actually end in 116, so there's a problem with my data. Normally what would happen here is they'd obviously put that in, that would go to the next stage, and then it would ask them for a new password, which they'd enter, and then they should be able to log in after that. So are there any questions at this point? Let me just unmute your microphone. So any questions, Katie?
No, that's fine. No.
Brilliant. Alright, so the next part, what I was going to do is cover the permissions. So if I go back to CoursePro, first thing you want to do is go to Settings, then Users and Groups. What I'll cover first is the groups, because users are normally put into the groups that will determine their permission level. So if we make a new group here, call it Test. So as you can see, there's global, regions, centers, course at center. So global will be for that group everywhere. Below that you have regions, so if you wanted to set that test group to have a particular set of permissions at that region, it would inherit the global ones here. So as you can see so far, all of them are denied. And then additionally you can do it at centers, course and course at center, so each one will override the one before it, if that makes sense. The one thing I do want to point out is on this one you don't actually have the option to inherit, because these are the core settings for that group. So the D here means denied, so that you've denied all access to alerts, everything like that. The next one after that is allow, so the member actually has permissions to access that part of CoursePro. And the final one is grant, so they can actually grant other users access to this. And that means they'd be able to change another user's permissions regarding this. So that is basically everything to cover in groups. Generally, you wouldn't normally reset these, and you'd only ever really make small changes to this, or if you were going to add another group. So the next one I wanted to cover was users. So if we click add user here, so here obviously you have the normal details, first name, last name, email address. You'd need that to create an automatic password in this case. Telephone number is optional, and obviously the user needs a username. If you were to untick automatic password, what you can see here is you can set a manual password. So now down to the permissions. Here you can see super user. So super user is basically someone who basically has the same privileges as a root user. They only miss a couple of things which wouldn't really directly affect the normal use of CoursePro. After that you have member of all regions and centers and member of all courses. So generally if you've got members of all courses ticked, you're more likely to have all regions and centers ticked as well. Some people do find that if you don't have that ticked, you can't pick a home center. So if I untick this, you don't have the option because you haven't set a home center within their permissions. So what I'll do is I'll untick that for now. Here you can see the global group. So this will be the permission group that they've actually been put in. So we'll select teachers as an example. If we have a look at that group, you can see they don't have a lot of privileges. So next part, what you'd want to do is, if you were going to set any individual permissions for that particular member, is open up the global. So here you can see we've got an additional one for I, that is inherit. So that's actually inherited all the permissions from the group teachers. Additionally, you can override these as long as you have the correct set of permissions yourself. So if you were to be a super user, for example, or had enough permissions granted to yourself, what you can do is change these. So if we have a look in here, this is the test, this is teachers, right? So we can see at alerts they have it currently denied. If we change that to there, so they'd be allowed permissions for alerts. And you can obviously open up these groups and change their permissions within there also, so you might only want them to be able to view the alert rather than dismiss it. Same as before with the groups, you have the ability to set particular regions and pick a particular group for that member. So if they were to log in onto that particular center or region, you can override their privileges for that. So are there any questions at this point, Katie?
No, no questions.
Brilliant. So I think that's more or less all of that covered.